or that's just common courtesy. The rest of the games are fine, albeit fairly lifeless interpretations of the source material. I mean, Mousetrap is pretty much a straight conversion of the board game, but damn is it lame as hell. I would want to go see Niagara Falls in person when I can draw you this picture of it instead. Some of these games here are just too reliant on the tangibility of the board game versions that I wish they'd either replace them or try a little harder to adapt them in more clever ways, which, hey, for the next title, they did just that. Based on a game show, based on the video game franchise, based on the board games, this is Family Game Night for the game show.
No, this is unfortunate.
Yeah, take the actual adaptations of the timeless games and turn them into 2-minute long minigames that might have something to do with the original. What the f is a Boptagon? These are fine, but they're over so quickly and don't have the replay value the actual board games have. Scrabble Flash is enjoyable for a few minutes, but enjoyable enough to pop this game in every time to play? In previous games, they had remixed versions alongside the classic titles. Why couldn't they have done that here? Instead, the main attraction is the game show mode, which has you play each of the games one after another, and 20 minutes later, it's done. Yes, a perfect replacement for the real board games. The Family Game Night series is quality, yet never felt thought out enough to be warranted in my opinion. They could have chosen different games and reworked them in smarter ways to make them work as video games far better. And what they ended up doing was either just the same goddamn thing as the board game or Twister. Next up, I want to take a look at some games that harness the spirit of the Family Game Night series without the starch. The multi-game packs on Game Boy Advance and Nintendo DS. I don't know if there's an overarching series name for these things other than Jesus Christ. These are all pretty cheaply made, but they do the job. Being on handhelds make them feel far more justified. You can play whenever, wherever you want, by yourself or with others if multiplayer is offered. And these may be made on a budget, but I honestly find they have a whole lot more worth than...
T-minus 10 seconds.
Oh, a stork.
Way to go, blue team.
All right, next word. Stork? No. Big bird.
The genre is I'm sick.
Dude, he's getting fucking shot!
Way to go, blue team.
That's pretty sick. It's also pretty sick. What? Did you just stop?
Way to go, blue team.
Yes.
Alright, so I can pick between Junior Pictionary and Adult Pictionary.
Oh, no, don't do adult. I don't want to draw a mortgage.
Okay, Junior. Well, I can draw dirty laundry.
Do you really want to draw a horse?
Weekend trips. Fishing.
Isn't that spelled with a PH?
This one isn't working out. But I promise you guys, we will get a legitimate board game experience. How about Battleship?
I am gonna hit you with a blunt object.
I do understand Boggle now.
Level, the first damn level, is one of the worst designed pieces of fiction I've ever experienced. The first damn thing you do in the course is go through doors that just look like they're part of the background. Then you're expected to make turns like this? There's like a damn platformer level you shoved go-karts in. Like, judging from Data Design's new strategy, let's check out their platformers to see if this stage originated somewhere. Actually, I just found one. This is Ninja Bread Man. It's a cookie.
Wait. I've seen that before.
You know, maybe we shouldn't be paid cookies and milk when we deliver these presents. The bank doesn't take them. I've tried.
Yeah, well, the tooth fairy gets paid in teeth. We can get paid in, like, I don't know, fingernails? Could be the finger fairies?
We can't do that. We need a drink, too.
How about tomato soup?
No, we'll stay in the snow. Why don't we get $200 apiece?
So this is our current project proposal.
Now it is.
So is Ninja Bread Man just a gingerbread cookie ninja, or is this just a whole ass subgenre? Well, let's see how Data Design does platformers. They don't. Okay, I'm dead. And I'm dead again. My bees! Couldn't get the right supplies. It feels like chafing. just collect all the keys to unlock the portal at the end and move on to the next stage. Beat that 6 times, and you're not playing Ninja Bread Man because there's only 4 levels. Wow, this game is so bad. It only has 4 levels. Did you want more? Well, the Wii game only tells you to jump with the nunchucks. You can jump with the C button. Concrete evidence I've seen so far that God exists. For some reason, Data Design forced motion control into all of their Wii ports, which I never understood. That's more work! Because without motion control, this game plays perfectly fine on the PlayStation 2.
Define plays.
Candyland is under attack! You're just asking to be sued. Pick a more original name, will ya? Oh no, Scrabble is under attack. Hordes of snapping cupcakes. See, I just don't get that shit. Why are they attacking me? I'm one of them! Ninja Stars reducing enemies into a quivering pool of raspberry jam.
Even the bees?
It's just a completely generic 3D platformer, one that gives me just by controlling it. Ninja Bread Man is so damn fast, and using your weapon is so damn slow that every moment in this game just feels like it works. It's a game, but it's the bare minimum of what I'd call one. You can beat it in under an hour. Probably 20 minutes if you knew what you were doing. Done! Yeah.
Fucking cookie, I know.
So, Ninja Bread Man, not the best it could be. Similar sentiment I have towards Organized Crime. I'd definitely rather play it than Data Design's kart racing efforts. Most of those are just incredibly boring. Ninja Bread Man's got that, and bees. Next in line of Data Design's Wii-era platformers is this.
Anubis 2? They made a second Anubis?
Oh, I love the first one. It had graphics.
Graphics? Those graphics say there's no Anubis 1. There's no Anubis 1 on any screen I'm aware of. And that includes a screen on my back door. What are you talking about? Why are you whispering to me?
Anubis 2 is Anubis the second, as if this is the offspring of the original Egyptian god Anubis. Okay, that's fine, but just call the game Anubis Jr. There will never be another incarnation of the Egyptian god Anubis. Wait, and drum roll, please. Damn, all we could get was a rim shot. Of course it's the same guy. I mean, even if there's an one, there is. Anubis 2 actually does switch things up, featuring more levels, longer levels, because that was Ninja Bread Man's problem. There wasn't enough. While there are differences between most of Data Design's work here to classify these as different games, I mean, I may be playing Data Design games right now, but I ain't stupid. I've just run out of options to gain a personality. These are the same damn things, evident by one Rock and Roll Adventures. Yup. I always thought the shaped. Then we have the third Mythmaker series, Mythmakers, Trixie, and Toyland. Before we see what it is, let's go over what it might be. Wrong. Bad. It's straight to the platformer was the third Mythmaker game, while the Monkey Ball Clone and Kart Racer came before it. But hey, leave it to Data Design to break conventions. For example, most people say you shouldn't eat pits. Hey, Mythmakers is just like Ninja Bread Man, just like Anubis 2, it's just like Rock and Roll Adventures, it's like Elf Years. And that's Data Design's lineup of 3D platformers for the PS2, PC, and which pales in comparison to all the damn racing games. Listen, there's nothing to say about these games.
Monster Trucks Arena. You ever played this game?
God, no. This game involves my 3 biggest fears. Monsters, trucks, and the Monster Trucks Arena video game.
My 3 biggest fears are men, bread, and losing my brother in a homicide.
I know how you feel. I got a gluten allergy.
The Monster Trucks games are just the same as the kart racers, but with big-ass cars. Rig Racer 2 is the same as the Monster Trucks games, but with trucks. Now, where's Rig Racer 1? I don't know. Maybe it's the same as Anubis the second, and it's pronounced Rig Racer the second. Goodyear Racing, classic British motor racing, urban extreme street rage, and all the damn Kawasaki games. Snowmobiles, quad bikes, jet ski. Yeah, Data Design got the license to make a jet ski game with the Kawasaki brand. The same license Nintendo got for their jet ski game, Wave Race 64. So in a weird way, Data Design created a spiritual successor to Wave Race 64. It's obvious why Data Design pumped out so many racing games. I mean, they're obviously fairly easy to iterate on. You can make a Monster Trucks game and a Trucks game, swap the cars and environments, and for some reason, these two feel more distinct than Ninja Bread Man and Anubis 2. But outside of these examples, they did some more experimental racing games. London Taxi, Rush Hour. This is a clone of the Crazy Taxi. a bit less egregious than Billy the Wizard Rocket Broomstick Racing, which is a clone of, Little Wizards. Oh my God. Moving on, Earache Extreme Metal Racing, based on the record label Earache. That's just great. Yeah, next up, Crash Easter Egg Hunt, Mini Desktop Racing. These are all horrible. Okay? Billy and Desktop have the worst feeling controls of the bunch. London Taxi is probably the most tolerable, and then Earache, it's just badass. What's like misspelling kids while playing sports? It's the Kids Sports Series. Here's basketball. And ice hockey. And international football. You know, in Europe on the PS2, this was called City Soccer Challenge. Soccer. In Europe. You're in Europe. Why are you calling it the American term? You don't call crumpets Jesus over there. The Kids Sports Series is about as bland as it gets. But I will admit, for what they are, they do the job, unlike the Kids Sports Series. This almost looks like it's from an entirely different franchise. Kids Sports Crazy Mini Golf, featuring new U technology, allowing anybody to put themselves in the game. Wait, what are you doing?
Oh, I just decided to tinker.
Tinker?
Yeah.
It doesn't work. This game doesn't work. I have no idea how anybody can control this. Like, what the hell am I doing wrong? Not playing Crazy Mini Golf 2, obviously. Put out Junior League Sports later on, which is pretty much an updated compilation of basketball, and soccer all in one day. Nice if they include one of their games here. It's just a bunch of hogs. It's on a farm. Oh, that's what the title meant. The later days design release, no PS2 PC version was launched fully for the Wii in 2009, and it's not good, but it's its own game. It's not reusing loads of assets like previous Wii efforts. This is an original native release. We haven't gotten one of those in years. Why stop there? How about Battle Rage: The Robot Wars? This has poorly designed and controlled, and the game as a whole is ass, but still, my personal golf trainer on Wii is a completely different beast from the Crazy Mini Golf series, and intends on teaching you how to properly play golf. My leg! My brain. This is pretty much just a series of videos with segments here and there. Best damn thing they've done. These things are looking up. What I said still applies. Okay, what's left? Well, some licensed kids games exclusive to Europe on the PlayStation 2, American Tail, Casper and the Ghostly Trio, and Casper's Scare School. What do these all have in common? Yeah, they all American Tail is a very sloppy, basic, and simple minigame collection disguised as a level-based story mode, and is David designed sampler platting. First couple stages are monkey ball course, followed by some platforming stages, and it'll take you roughly 45 minutes to get through this, 30 if you shave off the time I spent on the title screen. Casper and the Ghostly Trio and Casper's Scare School are both cut from the same cloth. Both incredibly basic and generic platformers. Better than Ninja Bread Man, worse than Forced Extinction of Species.
God.
There, all data design games tested. If we're quick, we can catch up to Santa. It's only 2 a.m. on April 16th.
Oh man, I had work a month ago.
Can't believe we missed the deadline for Christmas Eve! We can start playing these games!
I wouldn't say wasted, but I would say misused.
Yeah, I enjoyed not talking about it. Yeah, I enjoyed not hearing about it.
Yeah, it says right here. I'm pretty sure. And by proxy, so are all you.
I mean, yeah, actually, looking back at it all, I really feel like a waste of my time. We do have the competitive edge. Santa may be able to give up on company and friendship. We have the experience going through all these horrible games together that'll last us for our entire lives. It's more valuable than something you can unwrap. These games as gifts are absolutely garbage. The memories we made spending time with each other, going through them. It's priceless. And that can be what sets us apart. We don't give away presents, we give away time and energy. And it's a beautiful Sunday, April night in Ohio. Let's go caroling. Well, that's 114 days of Christmas, and Design Interactive is the worst game developer of all time. That doesn't mean they're never good at history. It's honestly very sad to see a studio just trying to get by, doing what they could, picking up porting jobs, making all the types of games, trying to see what sticks. In the end, working for that was market with constant releases that were all clones of each other. People saying, we give up, we know we're bad, let's not even try anymore. But it may have worked for a couple of years. It obviously wasn't sustainable. Just to know that try to game the system, put as little effort into your work as possible, and it may work initially. It's still created in some of the most they were all horrible. From Action Girls Racing to seeing the same game. That sticks with you. It's good that they're gone. Man, they gave me one of my best Christmas memories of all time. And I just wish they gave to me. I wish they were back making games again today, just for a little bit. Near the end of their life, they were actually trying a bunch of new things. I want to see how much their projects would have evolved these days. I just wish I could tell them Merry Christmas Day to Design. Junior League Sports on Nintendo Switch? Crazy Mini Golf on Nintendo Switch? Never mind. Version of a Nintendo thing and just not putting enough effort into it. PlayStation Classic, the PlayStation Move, Little Big Planet karting, all just feel like half-assed attempts to do something Nintendo did successfully. And with all of these, especially All-Stars Battle Royale, they all flopped. They all felt soulless, and the thing was they didn't execute. A PlayStation crossover fighting game would be amazing. They just need to treat it with the same amount of love and respect as Smash Brothers gets. Smash Brothers always felt like a momentous occasion, with the character being in it solidifying them in as true icons. The goals in PlayStation All-Stars. For a PlayStation All-Stars sequel, they need to get a better character lineup. The ones they had were fine, but the PlayStation All-Stars between Link and Kirby. It needs better gameplay and ideas. It just felt like they copied Smash Brothers, but tweaked a bunch of random things to make it different, but in the end just made things worse. They should just try to do their own thing. Maybe making a 3D fighting game would be interesting. And change the title. This thing is the most generic garbage sequence of letters my mouth could ever barf out. Now, before anybody says anything, yes, there was technically a PlayStation All-Stars sequel called PlayStation All-Stars Island, a minigame collection for mobile devices, brought to you by Coke Zero. Well, that's one thing Smash Brothers doesn't have. What it means to be a Sonic game isn't the most clear-cut thing in the world, since the mainline Sonic the Hedgehog titles vary so much in terms of style. Classic, the adventure titles, the Boost formula, Knuckles Chaotix, it's all over the place. Right now we have 2D Classic Sonic with Sonic Mania, the Boost formula with Sonic Forces, and then whatever the hell Sonic Lost World is. I'd really like to see some of the other styles of Sonic games throughout history get brought back. A good chunk of them had merit and would be fun to see again. With proprietary handheld systems fading away, there's been one type of Sonic title that hasn't made an appearance for almost a decade, and that's the Sonic Mania / Sonic Rush style of games. These titles only appeared on the early Nintendo handhelds and felt like a modern spin on the 2D Sonic titles from the Genesis days. I'd love to see a successor to these games. Not saying something like Sonic Mania isn't phenomenal, but these games were different enough from the classics to warrant being brought back. I think seeing a new Sonic Rush thrown onto the Switch eShop would be really fun. Maybe with a 2D hand-drawn art style, crazy fluid animation, I'd love that. Of course, you can't talk Sonic sequels without bringing up Sonic Adventure 3. While I'm not a huge Sonic Adventure guy, I feel like if the right developers most of the problems I have with the adventure titles are just due to them not aging the best, so a modern take could work. I'm just not holding my breath. As anybody born in the year 1997 would do, I thought Pac-Man was good. This wasn't a groundbreaking game by any means, but it did a very good job of transitioning whatever the hell this is into a 3D platform. It didn't feel like a generic 3D platform with Pac-Man shooting into it. It felt like a Pac-Man, but it was a 3D platform, and I really with Pac-Man World Series in general, I went straight down the middle. Didn't play 1, didn't play 3. From what I hear, Pac-Man World 1 was pretty good, and 3 was a pretty divisive follow-up. It took a different direction and didn't really turn out the best. Now, there have been some fairly recent Pac-Man 3D platformers, the Ghostly Adventures games based on some TV show. But unlike Pac-Man World 2, these do feel like generic 3D platformers with Pac-Man squirted into like Pac-Man World. I'd like to see another traditional 3D platformer with this Pac-Man, no pupils and all. No TV show tie-in, nothing weird like the third game, just a fun 3D platformer in the same vein as World 2. A true Pac-Man World 4. Oh my god. Of all the potential sequels on this list, Conker's Bad Fur Day just... Bad Fur Day was the 1964 swan song and got a remake on the original Xbox, and that's it, it's 2019 now, wow. Bad Fur Day was a spin in the face 12 cutesy E-rated platformers. It went 8 letters down the alphabet and went full-on M-rated with loads of fun blood and piss. The developers at Rare were obviously making the game for themselves and not for the general Nintendo 64 owner. It obviously didn't sell well, but was always destined to be a cult classic. The ending of Bad Fur Day feels definitive enough, but does hint at a future game. And a sequel called Conker's Other Bad Day was planned, but was given the boot after Microsoft acquired Rare. After that, another game, Conker Getting Medieval, was planned, but scrapped as well, and the only thing released that progressed Bad Fur Day's plot was some episodic DLC for Project Spark. That was cancelled after episode 1. Project Spark was a game creation tool, and the Conker DLC was created within it, and I think it's fair to say this I spoke too soon. Yeah, Conker has just been subjected to Bad Fur Day again, and a true sequel that continues the story of Bad Fur Day is really what everybody wants to see. There's not much more I can say, just a Conker game that continues to That's it. Every single evening, Ubisoft's press conference comes around. I'm ready for a new Rayman to be announced. Yeah, it never happens. Alright, I quite like Rayman Origins and Legends. I wasn't like out of this world in love with them like other people, but I will happily say I quite enjoyed my time with both titles. I even really dug the mobile Rayman game. Rayman Jungle Run was one of the best platformers on mobile. I'd just love to see more of these games. Seeing a Rayman Legends 2 or whatever you want to call it would be stellar. But to see a return to the 3D Rayman games. I haven't seen one of these in ages. Now, Rayman Origins came out around the height of the return of the 2D platformer, but we've been seeing a resurgence of 3D platformers lately, so maybe a new 3D Rayman is totally out of the question. Either way, I like a new game in general. Bully has never been one of Rockstar's bigger games, but it's a beloved one nonetheless. It's always been like other other Rockstar titles did. Think about it. If Manhunt can become a series, you can accomplish anything. It's not like Rockstar wants to try and forget this game exists. I'd gladly put it out on mobile devices and PS4, and a sequel and with fully being a T-rated game, the sequel is the pace from all of this Rockstar has been putting out for the past 10 years. Alright, bear with me on this one, because I only just started playing it, but it's really something special. I've been with it for a few hours so far, but from what I've played, this is what you call a wolf game. That's right, I said it. Got Wolf Quest. Every single second I've played has filled me with so much joy. It's really similar to the Wii game, but it's all about the beauty of Japanese culture, history, art, everything. Now, a sequel was released on the Nintendo DS, Okami Den. Like I said, I'm still making my way through the first one. And with how much people adore Okami, I'd love to see a new title in the series. Capcom has been spreading Okami HD around to all current-gen platforms, so that at least shows they want people to continue playing this game. And hopefully that means a third game is still a possibility. Mario RPGs have incredibly dedicated fan bases, especially considering how all of the Mario RPG series out there are either dead, or pleasing. Alright, Paper Mario Color Splash was okay, but really it was only saved by its writing and presentation. Mario and Luigi games used to be special, but now they just seem to be filler titles for when Nintendo needs to put out a game with Mario on the cover. But then, there's the grandfather of them all. Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, developed by Square for the Super Nintendo. I feel that the Paper Mario series has definitely overshadowed the original Mario RPG in terms of pure love from fans, but it's still a beloved title and Marty's favorite Mario RPG title. The original Paper Mario on N64 was actually initially planned as a sequel to Super Mario RPG until it became its own thing entirely. So while you can make the argument that Paper Mario is Mario RPG's sequel, it's still kind of its own entity. I think a true sequel to Mario RPG would be mind-blowing, and with Nintendo and Square Enix playing nice with each other, seeing a full-blown sequel to the original game isn't completely impossible. Imagine Mario RPG 2 being done by the same team behind Octopath Traveler. Now that would be something to see. I'm not even an RPG guy, and I would love to see this. But we can't forget about Paper Mario, though. I think what most people would love to see is obviously a follow-up to Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. The original Paper Mario and its sequel are treasured as the deity of paper-based Mario RPGs. And while some people still love the third game, Super Paper Mario, it's definitely more of a mixed bag. Plus, this is a platformer with RPG elements. And then this happened, and like I said, Color Splash was okay. Sticker Star and Color Splash, while still RPGs, are huge deviations from the first two games' formulas. I think what everybody would like to see would be a third game in the style of the first two Paper Marios. Basically, The Thousand-Year Door 2. Kid Icarus Uprising is one of the most I wanted to play it. I bought it on Amazon and the seller sent me the European copy game I've ever not played. Believe me, I'm dying to. The Kid Icarus series only saw 2 titles and then lay dormant for over 20 years until Uprising's release. It was directed by Smash Bros. Creator Masahiro Sakurai, and the same hefty attention to detail and wealth of content you'd find in those games was present in Uprising. The gameplay was pretty different from the first 2 games, being a third-person shooter, more sin and punishment than traditional Kid Icarus. Regardless, it is a beloved game that was plagued by this little sliver of pain. Yeah, the number one complaint about Uprising was the controls. This type of game just doesn't work that well on the 3DS. Now, I'd gladly take a remake of Uprising on the Nintendo Switch, but I'd be even more excited to see that a sequel is being made instead. Kid Icarus Uprising didn't sell like crazy, but it didn't flop, so while I don't think Nintendo is hovering over the Make Uprising sequel button, I'm sure they wouldn't be crazy opposed if Sakurai wanted to make another one. And I love when people don't make games, especially you, Valve. This company has evolved from making hit after hit to just hanging out, running Steam, selling other people's games. They're great. Almost all of the titles Valve had previously released warrant sequels, and of course, this is the obvious one. Now, I'm not gonna act like I'm everybody's resident Half-Life expert. I've played a little bit of 2, but not much. With the last we've seen of the Half-Life series being a cliffhanger, we just need a finale to it all. Just finish it up. Will it ever happen? I don't know. I'm fairly optimistic about it eventually happening, but I'm not saying it's super likely anytime soon. I just want to see Half-Life 3 announced because it would truly be one of the biggest days in gaming history. Just reading the history of Half-Life 3 not being announced is unexpected, having it actually happening. Now, a game I'm more personally invested in is Portal. This is a series that has an infinite amount of possibilities. They can make 34 Portal games, and the 35th one was still impressive with new ideas, I'm sure of it. Portal 3, make it happen, and I know for a fact you'll be on Left 4 Dead 3. Just Jesus Christ, Valve, do something. The NES Remix games on Wii U were great, just quick challenges on old school NES games, with some of them mixing things up in terms of art style, characters, physics, all that. I really like these games because they took some NES games that aged poorly and made them legitimately fun by chopping them up into fun challenges. challenges. Or they took NES games that actually aged well and made them fun in a whole new way. They made 2 of them, and these just feel like the perfect gap fillers. Like if Nintendo isn't releasing anything one month, just throw out a remix title. They're fun pick up and play games, and they don't take too awful long to develop. And really, I just want them to do more console variations of them. SNES remix, Game Boy remix, N64 remix. I just want to see more of these remix style games, and then sequels to them too. Not asking for much, just 6 new games here. Duke Nukem is one of the biggest and most iconic names in all of it. Alright, okay, Duke Nukem 3D could be considered a landmark title, but other than that, things get a little mediocre with the franchise. What made Duke Nukem popular in 1996 was the edgy lowbrow humor and being a pretty impressive first-person shooter with loads of things to interact with in the environment. After a bunch of side games and spin-offs, Duke Nukem Forever released in 2011 is the true sequel to 3D. And after being in development hell for over a decade, yeah, it wasn't that good. Forever didn't evolve Duke Nukem. Some fans saw that as a positive, but most people saw that as the game feeling outdated in terms of its comedy and how it looked and played. Some may say he's better left in the 90s, but I think with enough passion and wit behind the project, a true new Duke Nukem game could be pretty decent. Look at how Doom 2016 came out. That similarly is based on a legacy PC first-person shooter franchise from the 90s. Now Doom has had a much better track record than Duke Nukem, but I'm just saying. I think if the Duke Nukem team puts forth a similar effort to the Doom reboot, a new game can work really well. Mario Kart Double Dash is the most unique Mario Kart. Get out of here, Mario Kart Super Circuit supporters. What the hell kind of an argument was that? You can pick 2 characters per kart, and that opens loads of gameplay possibilities, including co-op. There was really not much wrong with this style of Mario Kart, but they dropped it in favor of the way God intended Mario Kart to be, one driver and all. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is fine, but this was also fine. Now, do I need a full-on Double Dash 2? I mean, that would be cool, but at the very least, I think a Double Dash mode in a future Mario Kart would be stellar. But hey, Double Dash's concept has so much potential that I'd love to see a full-on sequel. They can just do so much more with this. Kirby, for God's sakes, grow up. A good Kirby game is like a nice bowl of mac and cheese. I mean, it's probably not good for you, but it's pretty fun. That doesn't really help shake off the fact that throughout the series' entire life, Kirby has remained a 2D game. This isn't a series that straight up won't work in 3D. There's been little mini-game offshoots and experimentations that easily show, hey, this game will work just fine in 3D. I just want a 3D Kirby game, a true step forward for the franchise. And Kirby Air Ride 2, that would be pretty cool. This isn't gonna happen. Even then, I think Earthbound/Mother is too important to people to just let the game sit there. I think this series has potential to tell so many more stories and capture so many more hearts. Plus, these games aren't perfect, far from it. A new game could easily refine the gameplay with little quality of life improvements here and there. Now, like I said, Mother 4 is crazy unlikely to ever happen. The series creator Shigesato Itoi has made it clear that he doesn't plan on making any new games. And of course, Mother 3 hasn't even released outside of Japan yet, that needs to happen. I'd still love a remastered collection of all 3 titles, but I think a 4th game would be jaw-dropping to see happen. Will it? Probably not, but I don't think it's impossible. This is Itoi's baby, and he doesn't really want to do anything with it, but who knows, maybe someday he'll have a change of heart. It's something more people myself and countless others have had many sleepless nights where the only thing we could hear echoed in the darkness. Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort are great. They may seem like nothing more than motion control minigame collections. That's exactly what they were. But they're so much fun. These are such simple games, but they're chemically engineered to be infinitely replayable. They remind me of a good high-score-based arcade game. No matter how many times I play Galaga, I still want to keep playing it. Same goes to you, Cole. I think doing a new game under the name Nintendo Sports or Wii Sports would be awesome. I think keeping with the resort theme would be a great idea, or maybe they switch things up and go for a winter-based sports one. I don't know, I just want Nintendo to make something like this again. I don't want these casual-type games to be the only thing Nintendo makes. But if they plop out a new Wii Sports, I'd be pretty content. The Uncharted games. I played through all of them outside of Golden Abyss on the Vita and Fight for Fortune, some card games, so actually no, I guess I can't call myself a fan. Now, while the series developer Naughty Dog seems to be done with the franchise and Nathan Drake's story is finished, maybe handing the series over to Sony's Ben Studio or something and having them make games in the Uncharted universe would be a fun time. Now, I don't need these right now, not at all. I think I've had my Uncharted fix for a while, but I'm mainly talking about in like a few years. When there hasn't been a new Uncharted game for a while, bringing back the franchise in a new way would be fun. There's so many great characters in Uncharted that you can games focusing on. I mean, they already dipped their toes in this whole no Nathan Drake Uncharted with Uncharted The Lost Legacy, so it's definitely possible. Because it's already been done. Sony generally doesn't continually support franchises for decades. Their developers usually focus on a certain series for a good number of years and then move on. I really wish they'd start supporting franchises in the long term more often. In about 4 to 5 years, anyone trying to focusing on a character other than... Listen, if you want a foolproof way to make me squee, here you go. Punch-Out is one of my favorite Nintendo series, no doubt, and the Wii game is so good. The problem with it, though, was that it didn't have a lot of its own ideas. It mainly used boxers from previous games, and the gameplay was basically the same Punch-Out we all knew. Years ago, I always thought this style of Punch-Out would work beautifully on the 3DS. Or you could do some things with the 3D, and Punch-Out would be perfect for handheld play. Well, that never happened, and it never will, so I'd just like a new Punch-Out game with new unique boxers. Maybe a few classic ones, and maybe some new gameplay mechanics. Alright, that does it for everything I had a lot to say about. Let's pummel through some more games I really want but didn't have much to discuss. GB Robo 2, yes please, a series that never had a fair chance. All games Nintendo actually tried to push were garbage spin-offs. The only game that could be considered a true sequel to the original was a Japan-exclusive DS title. Either localize and remaster that one and put it in a resolution that doesn't sting, or make a true GB Robo sequel on a console. Oh man, I would kill for a new racing game that doesn't take itself seriously and isn't a crazy simulation. I've heard Forza Horizon is a great deal of fun, but what I'm mainly talking about is the return of Ridge Racer and Burnout. I'd squeak. I have two fears. They're dead mice and playing Donkey Kong 64. Donkey Kong 64 is just like any human being. It's aged. However, that doesn't mean the concept of a 3D Donkey Kong should be thrown out the window entirely. I'd love to see a modern 3D DK game. Like I said, I'd like to see a few new Sonic games, but man, f*** Sonic. I do enjoy a good Sonic from time to time, but God, look at all these other games Sega could make sequels to. Jet Set Radio, Samba de Amigo, Gunstar Heroes, Night, Space Channel 5 Comic Zone, a good Super Monkey Ball game. Sega has just an absolute forest full of franchises that they haven't been doing anything with. Just please bring back some of these. Gravity Rush 3, yes please. I'm really concerned this series is dead. Sony originally was going to pull Gravity Rush 2's servers offline only a year after the game release. They delayed it by half a year after fans got antsy. That shows that Sony may not be interested in supporting Gravity Rush anymore, but that also shows they know the series has a passionate fan base, so I don't know what the future holds, but I know I want more Gravity Rush in it. A new Katamari game. Excluding the remake of the first game, we haven't had an original game on a console in so long. The last mainline title was released on the PS Vita in 2012. Nobody played it. Wario Land. Yeah, I'd love to see a new one, especially with the art style of Wario Land Shake It, and on top of that, a new original WarioWare game. WarioWare Gold was pretty good, but was a Best of WarioWare compilation. I want a fully original new one. A new Crimson Skies. This is a fan favorite Xbox title. Come on, why not just bring out a new one with modern visuals? That would be gorgeous. A new James Bond game. We haven't had one in forever. I think the last one was 007 Legends in 2012. These were tons of fun. They were some of the few first-person shooters to not take themselves so seriously. A new Mario vs. Donkey Kong, but now with these godforsaken mini Marios. The style of game was fun for a while, but they just kept making the same game. I want to see a game in the style of Donkey Kong 94 on the original Game Boy. This was an amazing puzzle platformer. And the original Mario vs. Donkey Kong was basically a spiritual successor to it. I just want another one of these games. They're so good. A new Castlevania game, either one that plays similarly to Super Castlevania 4 or any of the Castlevania titles. A new F-Zero. I love Tomodachi Life. Coming back to for a week. That's the thing. Way to spread that content out so you don't experience everything the game has to offer so quickly. Send in Punishment 3, because why not? They made the first one for the N64 I love the Link Between Worlds, and would dig seeing a new game in this style. I would completely original. Link Between Worlds still uses the same map from A Link to the Past. I want a top-down Zelda title that plays like this, but is completely designed from the ground up. Also, a new Four Swords game would be pretty solid. None of that Triforce Heroes whatever. Super Mario Sunshine 2 never got any kind of follow-up, and I still think there's a ton you can do with the Flood. A Sunshine sequel more so than a Mario Galaxy 3. I'd be pretty stoked for a Galaxy 3, but I'm pretty okay with stopping at 2. Sunshine has so many things that more. I love begging companies to not do new things and to just do the same thing over and over. Hey, I love all my desires. Scott here. Don't you
you just love reading the ESRB age rating descriptions on the back of each game? Everybody's Golf has mild language and suggestive themes, and Chibi Robo Ziplash has ha 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 ha. Oh wait, Nintendo, you're actually releasing this? Have you ever noticed any of the games that don't have descriptions? What does it mean about this game's quality? Well, I'm gonna try and keep an open mind and try it out. What the f***? Eminem's kart racing wasn't good? You're a parent in the Walmart video game section, and you have only one thing on your mind. Releases. The AAA title, a game from a huge publisher with an equally huge budget. There are more mid-range releases from some medium to large-sized studios that are more budget-conscious or just aiming for a niche demographic. There's indie titles being made by small teams, and none of these tiers of video games mean anything about the game's overall quality, though. They're just basically categories to fit games into based around stuff like their budget. But there is one tier I haven't mentioned yet. One that is all about the game's quality, the developer's intentions, the budget, everything. Did somebody order terrible? Shovelware is the term used to describe a wealth of some of the worst video games ever conceived barked onto a popular platform while also being Spellcheck's mortal enemy. When a video game console does exceedingly well, more and more games release for it. It sounds like a good thing, but what ends up happening most of the time is that many developers and publishers exploit the more casual side of the system's fan base, people who don't keep up on what the latest and greatest releases are. These studios whip together games that barely have any thought, time, or money put into them, spanking them onto store shelves, generally for around $20 or so, waiting for people who don't know any better to pick up the game because, oh, my little Jimmy has a Wii and he fucking hates chickens. Shovelware preys on consumers who are attracted to the low price and general cover art. You mainly see some parents buy their kids this stuff because, hey, it's cheap, it looks like kids would enjoy this, and they really don't know what a high-quality game is compared to shovelware. Most parents don't know the difference between Vinegar's Mini Golf and Metroid Prime 3. I don't expect them to, but that's how this stuff does so well to begin with. That's why so much garbage was thrown onto the PlayStation 2, the DS, the PlayStation 4, and most recently the Nintendo Switch. But easily the most well-known shovelware hangout spot was the Nintendo Wii. Having the audience of the console primarily be families, oh my god, shitty developers had a field day with this system. Whether they be generic games that appeal to people looking for another Wii Sports type game, budget licensed titles that preyed on fans of the source material, or just the Wii had it all. You used to be able to walk into a Walmart, shove your hand into the video game's bargain bin, and pull out Hope on My Evening Set. Chicken Shoot, after manure, the first thing weirdly enough, this was a part of the popular chicken murder genre on the platform. This is actually a port of a computer game later from Game Boy Advance, so this came humanity's first chicken shoot rodeo. You shoot animated chickens, yes, how dare they, Nick? We have to kill them all! You keep shooting chickens until it's time for the next stage, which is a completely different part of the world, helping alleviate the chicken infestation. The Himalayas, yeah, big chicken problem down there. Look at this is paradise. There isn't much to this one. The title doesn't lie, I'll definitely give the game that. You shoot chickens, and that's all you do. Hold on, I forgot the egg mode! Chicken Shoot is one of the simplest games I've ever played. You shoot chickens and it goes on and on and on. I guess it's structurally sound, but who looked at this and said, yep, that's what we call a game worthy of coming out in 2007 physically on store shelves for a Nintendo platform. At least I can finally say I played this game. For everybody who's like, Scott doesn't play my favorite games, well, f*** you, have you played Chicken Shoot? Now, Chicken Shoot is a game where I question what kind of audience they're really going for here. The Wonder World amusement park? Yeah, it's pretty obvious with that one. After the booming success of Wii Sports, some developers tried to mimic that, creating minigame collections for the Wii that heavily used motion controls. A lot of them just made their own sports game collection, but some tried some more unique tactics. Now, Carnival Games was a huge one. All the kids had to have this game. The commercials made it look like it was on par with the fun and quality of Wii Sports, but offered games you would find in a Carnival. That sounded like so much fun. A complete no-brainer for any family's Wii collection. It wasn't that good, but hey, at least it was better than Wonder World Amusement Park. Courtesy of our friend Emma Chesko. They were one of the largest suppliers of mediocrity in the Wii. They could whip up some halfway decent games from time to time, but they'll never be good in my heart. This is a minigame collection, but you wouldn't know that while playing the games, considering that I'm pretty sure completing Breath of the Wild is quicker than a track shot in that game. These games just drag. These games require. And then they go on forever when you're actually playing them. Any form of fun you can muster from these games will last way after the first minute, but that's not to say any of these games are really that fun to begin with. There was some potential here, but it's wasted away. You have to grind a lot by replaying games to earn tickets to go to new themed areas in the park and play more games. But even then, the games in those areas are either reskins of other games or unfolding mummies. Like a frog. Gladly. Now you can use your tickets to play new games and have fun prizes. I get a spinning 3D model before I buy it, and the same spinning 3D model after I buy it. So it looks like we can customize our character. Perfect, but one of the most memorable things about this game is how the employees treat you like shit. Partners, you have 2 ways to leave this establishment. Immediately or dead, yep, that's a threat. Go give me a corn dog.
Any of them that talk, it's very likely they're gonna be incredibly rude. Like, did Carney act like this to you? It's obvious Wonderworld Amusement Park is a soft ripoff of Wii Sports, following the motion-controlled minigame collection based off of real-world games genre that Wii Sports proved to be successful on the platform. But what about the full-blown Wii Sports ripoffs? Well, that's where Deca Sports, Game Party, Cruise Ship Vacation Games, and Big Beach Sports come in, or the most overly surprised witnesses in court. Let's start off with Big Beach Sports, published by THQ. I only want the input for my custom character, but oh my god, I can draw my own face with the DS. I will hand it to him with this game. Connecting to the DS to fully draw your own character's face is pretty charming and cool, especially for 2008. And the product placement from Gatto makes things that much better. Can't make a character without a hat though, but come on, everybody's gotta have a hat. So here we have 6 different sports to play, and a lot of the more complicated sports play like garbage here. Play with only one Wii remote, and the simplified football and soccer is just shaking the Wii remote and sometimes pressing A. Themselves most of the time. With something like baseball, it's easy to translate to the Wii. You just gotta swing the remote. Football and soccer is just kinda simple as that. There's a reason these weren't included with Wii Sports. Disc golf only has the same feature area for its courses, even though they're all technically different. They're not. Cricket is just a slower, less bitter version of Wii Sports baseball. Volleyball is just taking the Wii remote to do everything, and it doesn't work half the time. Bocce. Big Beach Sports isn't that great. Half of these just feel like worse variants on games in Wii Sports, and the other half just feel like riding a Wii remote with no skill involved. But hey, I do have the sudden urge to buy car insurance. Game Party is one of the most popular third-party titles on the Wii. I mean, I assume this cover art kind of fooled a lot of people into thinking this was made by Nintendo themselves. It was designed with something like Wii Play with the Wii remote. And of course, it was only $20. But this game was always blasted by critics. I'd argue while it's not good, it doesn't do anything that terrible either. It's kind of exactly what you'd expect. It's a $30 party game. It has stuff like darts, trivia, air hockey, beer pong, hoop shot, you know, just typical family party game stuff. It's not good. I mean, the controls in hoop shot are low. Hey God, please explain the physics of the ball and skill. But for $20 in 2007, darts, air hockey, and trivia are some friends could definitely find some fun watching those games. At least Game Party includes games that aren't just worse repeats of games you'd find in Wii Sports or Wii Sports Resort. Here's Cruise Ship Vacation Games. This is a ripoff of Resort and not a good one. But you know Wii Pong is also known as table tennis? Holy sh**. The problem with all these Wii Sports ripoffs compared to the originals is that they all feel so much slower. They don't have the tight, fast-paced gameplay of the games they're ripping off. That's why I think Game Party was fine. The game lengths were on par with Wii Sports, but Cruise Ship Vacation Games and Big Beach Sports? Yeah, they just made you wish you were playing Wii Sports instead, which makes no sense because almost everybody who owned a Wii had that game bundled in. So why would all these developers just make worse versions of Wii Sports? Deca Sports was another game in this vein, but similar to Game Party, it's okay. It succeeds at what it wants to do. It's just an alternative additional game to that one everybody already owned. I like how quick you can get through the menus, and the games, well, nothing that great. I mean, you do the job, the control alright. This isn't anything I'll really ever want to come back to, but I don't think I consider this bad, just these are two pieces of potential shovelware that I think were okay enough to be understandable additions to any casual player's Wii collection. But what about games that made no sense for any Wii owner to pick up? Brunswick Pro Bowling was definitely capable of being considered terrible. This was for all the pro bowlers who laughed in the face of Wii Sports. This isn't like real bowling. You don't have arms. Most Wii owners have debatably the best bowling game ever bundled in with their console, so Brunswick Pro Bowling was a realistic take on the sport. You can customize the bowler and even have all possible options for different types of glasses, aviators, jazz, or none. Now this game's main problem boils down to the controls. Bowling is so delayed. The bowler has to go through this whole animation after you do the whole bowling motion. Just compare this to how bowling was meant to be. Fun was one of the last words I thought of when I was playing this game. I believe most people bought this because, oh man, bowling on the Wii is so fun. I just gotta have more of it. That was a mistake. The one thing I liked about this game was the shot of your character before you bowl. This is like a virtual fireplace. There were a ton of various licensed games I'd consider to be shovelware. Stuff like Project Runway. It tried to create a game based around a show all about creating the perfect fashion, which translates to a game where you just the belly to click. Okay, I have to select this top. On loading screens though, these would fit right in on the death screens in the old Call of Duties. Minute to Win It, a game show with wacky yet simple tasks with household items. Why make this a video game? Wasn't the entire point of the show being able to easily play all these games in real life at home? This game is some of the cheapest feeling animation, including sound clips from Gatrieri. Just look, they couldn't have been bothered to really animate anything like the level increasing or losing a life. It's all like a slideshow. At least I can do this. I've always wanted to play Gatrieri. Movies weren't off limits either, especially Balls of Fury, available now on HD DVD. I remember the parody stupid comedy movie era. This fit right in alongside Scary Movie, Date Movie, Epic Movie. This was a fun way to experience the Balls of Fury movie trailer, and it even came with a free shitty ping pong game. Yeah, it's a little unsettling having your girls living model recreation of the epic, but besides that, this is just a lame ping pong game with finicky assessment rules. You can give your opponent some of this and that, and also play the game for 10 plus hours to unlock this trophy, but at the end of the day, this is a table tennis game with terrifying models, bad controls, and nothing else to do other than eject the disc and play kart racing team as the game is called. This game has an interesting font choice, but it's just a lot of letters together, which makes some words not look right. Hey, it looks like Noose has the best lap time. Compared to a lot of the other garbage shovelware racing games on the Wii, this one doesn't control as bad, but I'll probably start. In what dimension was this designed for go-karts? I keep crashing into everything because these tracks are so clean, the corners so tight. This will work for something like a platformer, not a racing game. At least I can finally fulfill my dream of driving as an M&M. Some tracks are more competently designed than others, as in, these are actually playable. But that does not excuse the handful that were obviously not tested at all, like the truck factory.
My legs!
But hey, I did finish the tracks. I don't care what anybody says, I didn't like M&M's kart racing. I'm never gonna eat an M&M ever again. Road racing off-road might be a better game. Come on, the Wii wheel isn't required. Like all Wii games didn't have this notice. I mean, this functions, but it just feels like a mom driving a soccer practice. Hey look, asking me is a big deal for me, so I should really kill some fucking deer or something to keep it up. Yeah, deer have really been pissing me off lately, so Buck Fever will let me, you know. Hunting names are all over the place, but Buck Fever is the only one that has a funny title if you swap the first letters of Buck and Fever. We can only shoot bucks, of course shooting doe isn't allowed. This is Buck Fever after all. I just end up saying whatever and go up in wild shooting. Hey, look at this, I murdered. This was a pretty proud moment for me. I'm gonna make the sound of this deer falling my ringtone. Facebook Collision Course is another one that really screams anti-virgin, so let's give it a go. Jesus, humanity! Wii games probably can't get much worse than this. Not much to say here. I like the loading screen, and for the Bigfoot fans, this game definitely says Bigfoot in the title. But the graphics, sound, gameplay, frame rate, controls, UI, AI, replay value, the overall game, yeah, they could use some improvement. Other than that, Wii was known as the party game machine, and if you have 30 great games on you, you know it's gonna be a good party. This is Family Party 30 Great Games. Now, I took a look at the Wii U launch title follow, and I took a look at the worst games of all time according to Metacritic. Thankfully, this one missed the mark, so we should be good. Yes, Family Party. My favorite member of the family. This game stinks, so it's obviously a minigame collection, but my problem with it is that they make all the minigames last an eternity and overly complicated. There are pages of rules for each game. When I beat a game in 15 seconds, the computer's timed out after a minute and a half. There was this one minigame where one person had to make it to the goal while everybody else was shooting them at them to try and slow them down. In something like Mario Party, this would be just a simple one-person minigame where one person had to walk across. Nah, here everybody gets to walk across. They all take turns while the other players shoot. That makes this thing last forever. The Family Party series isn't my favorite, to put it bluntly, and now all I can do is just sit here and think to myself, man, just imagine party babies. Oh, f***. Ubisoft used to be crazy into this Imagine series, a casual lineup of games focusing on specific things that kids might be interested in. Stuff like animal doctors or wedding designers. Who the hell wants to be a party baby when they grow up? This is a party game where you play as babies with full heads of hair. Comparing this to Family Party, this kind of has a similar problem where they have to explain rules via multiple pages for games this simple. I don't get this game, but at least it functions, which is something that the last handful of games we'll be taking a look at can't say as much. Data Design Interactive was one of the most notorious shovelwares out there. They specialized in making shit and fucking shit. The company primarily developed games for the PS2, PC, and the Wii. And they made sure to exploit the lack of quality control on all those platforms. Now, a lot of their games that came out on the PS2 and PC only did so in Europe, so the thing was how Russell Hines primarily played Gingerbread Man. And everything's good quality so far. Yes, this is a Gingerbread Man-based 3D platformer. You jump by shaking the knife. Shake the weird one to not hit enemies, and hit the B button to do this projectile thing. And that's the gameplay of Gingerbread Man, and yeah, you heard it here first, folks. This isn't a good video game. There are only 4 stages, the camera is garbage, this projectile attack is only used for specific enemies, and the entire game can be beaten without ever using it past a tutorial. The whole nunchuck jumping shtick really feels this game made as it could have been better. Thankfully, you can just hit the Z button to jump. It's a hidden tactic to get taking the nunchuck to jump. The jumping with a button just isn't enough to fix the controls. It moves so fast and the hit detection with enemies is abysmal, which makes this game way harder than it has any right being. But all you do is collect all the keys hitting the gingerbread. Now you got all the keys and go into the portal to move on to the next stage. forgot to talk about the final mechanic in this game. You die by dying. Let's give another one of the games to try. Anubis 2, or Anubis the Second. It was never an Anubis 1 game. This character is supposed to be the second incarnation of the Egyptian god Anubis, so I assume this title is supposed to be read as Anubis the Second, but I always personally call the game Anubis 2, so Anubis 2 it is. It looks like data design reused the overall menu design. The profile icons are various degrees of standing here. Reminds me of like something or something. Yes, one of data design's key attributes in development is the constant reuse of everything. Ninja Breadman and Anubis 2 are the same, but with differing level design, and with Anubis being slightly more fleshed out. It had more levels and you can throw bombs in it. But almost everything in both games has been recycled or model swapped. If you played Ninja Breadman, you played Anubis. This is just as difficult and ridiculous with its controls and difficulty. I collected all the keys but one, so I guess I have to find out. This is another reskin of the same type of game, more in line with Ninja Breadman as it has the same number of stages. But weirdly enough, I was able to beat this one in less than an hour. I saw this game's ending. It doesn't have one. There was another game like these, Mythmaker's Trixie and Toyland, are literally the exact same game, but with slightly different levels and a different theme. This was definitely a trend with data design. They would make multiple variants of what basically was the exact same game. They did platformers and racing games, Monster Truck Arenas being one of them. Trucks Extreme. You got two of those games, right? Yeah, racing monster trucks. Takes forever to finish the race. Single laps take about the same amount of time as entire races in Mario Kart. Oh my god, my thumb aches from holding the acceleration button for so long. Replay the level. Who the hell would say, you know what I should do that? Kawasaki jet skis formatted in the exact same way. It's a racing game, this time on jet skis. This one looks like it has the most content out of all the data design games so far. I mean, it has a balloon mode, Anubis 2 can't say that. But thankfully, the races aren't as long as Monster Trucks. It's still not good. I mean, look at this. Do you think this looks fun? Both these games have horrible frame rates and absolutely no fun factor. They're terrible. I don't have Action Girls racing, there is this design racing game. These guys justifiably went out of business in 2012. But I find their games to be absolutely fascinating. Next time you say a video game feels soulless or like a cash grab, I can't really think of more deserving games to be considered the worst of all time. I don't really think I'd consider them my personal least favorites. I mean, I had no expectations. But I think in general, they have to be some of the worst things I've some of the games I'd consider simply mediocre. Most of the games I'd consider shovelware. Now, would I consider the data design game shovelware? No, I consider it. Hey all, Scott. Oh! Shovelware titles on the Wii, which it's hard to classify as shovelware. Like, is it just a bad game? No, I think it's basically a video game whose mere existence is to be on a store shelf and nothing more. Walmart thinks, oh, we're out of milk, fill the space with Chicken Shoot. To think of all the chicken slaughter games on Wii. I already played Chicken Shoot. Let's try another of the genre. Chicken Blaster 5. You know what sets Chicken Blaster apart from the rest of the genre? 5 letters. Chicken Blaster. I've never seen this game, and coincidentally, I've never played it. Oh, 3D environments. Wow, it's so realistic. It truly feels like I'm gutting a fucking duck. When we blast the chickens, do they die, or are they just fainting? No, it is canonical. These chickens are being slaughtered. I like the role of a chicken farmer whose birds have gone haywire to save the farm from killing these mad chickens. They know what they want. I don't really know what's better here. Chicken Blaster, 3D environments, you move between different areas. But that's the whole game. There's nothing else. It's just go for the high score in these areas and it's done. Chicken Shoot always has a different minigame going for it, a bonus. I killed him. However, neither one of these games really satiates my lust for a AAA kill the chicken. I'm really sick of the chicken. Why can't I get a quality game where it can kick a bird's ass? Let's say Chicken Shoot is the better option here. While Chicken Blaster has 4 crazy chickens bosses to fight, Chicken Shoot just has more substance. Also, I feel like the box arts for these games should have been swapped. They match the opposing games art styles more. I may hate chickens, but I'm a big supporter of the pheasant. Well, they aren't a fad. This is Pheasants Forever Wing Shooter, featuring pheasant, quail, duck, turkey, and grouse.
Grouse!
You got the whole band back together. Pheasants Forever is an organization that looks like Quail Forever, promoting the conservation of the birds. So let's kill them. Well, that's the most surprising thing I've seen all day. Alright, pick a location. Bottom left, never took a name and turn first course. Contacts on the loading screen. Every gun is epically loaded. This is punish! If anybody sees these words in the neighborhood. And here we are. This is Pheasants Forever Wing Shooter. You kill pheasants. I have to give the game that. They nailed it. Now, is it better than Chicken Blaster? That's not matter. Grass really pushes it over the edge. The way was big on bird hate. Here I have ultimate duck hunting. Shooting ducks. Yeah, 70% of this cover it isn't a duck though. What are you shooting at? The duck's right there. Just step on it. God, I want to kill that duck. If I was the opening cutscene to a hunting game, I wouldn't want to be made fun of. You know what? I don't even want to bother. The lack of grouse is really bugging me. How about we try ultimate duck hunting? Yeah, I accidentally bought this game twice. Apparently this game got reprinted by Zoo with new art. At least this box is more duck hunting related, but the duck's right there. Just spit on it. Outside of that, I believe it's the exact same game, and unlike the previous Bird Murder games, this one's far more simulation-based. It's all about making you truly feel like you're about to kill some ducks. Gotta train my dog and put some decoys out and start using duck calls. I couldn't kill a single duck. I'm about to fucking lose it. Ultimate duck hunting is in that weird place where it's incredibly low quality, but the developers tried to make it as in-depth and realistic as possible. Now the problem is, with the budget they have, they for a Chicken Blaster type deal. If you're gonna do a simulation title, you need the budget to make an actual simulation title. That's why Ultimate Duck Hunting is going down here. Now, Ultimate Duck Hunting, that's a bit better. You can adjust your dog's stats. I created a speedy bitch. Oh, and I got time and a lust for blood. North American Hunting Extravaganza. Yes, Hunting Extravaganza.
This is a fucking party!
The only all-in-one hunting experience. I just played Chicken Blaster, man. What kind of a statement is that? The Wii was overflowing with hunting games. The Mac's headline is almost identical to Pheasants Forever. Take aim against fowls such as pheasant, duck, grouse. You know what? I'm intrigued. Alright, our first mission is to kill a skunk. I can sprint after it. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna get that skunk. That skunk is mine. I have to reload by cocking the Wii remote like a gun, but it barely works. Why can't I just flick it or something? No, it has to be a cocking motion. So many Wii games are ruined by motion controls that are too complex for the system to recognize consistently when they could have just made this a waggle motion, or better yet, have you hit a button. You know what? North American Hunting Extravaganza is better than Ultimate Duck Hunting and Ultimate Duck Hunting, but not much more. We might as well finish up the hunting games I have on me with Deer Drive. This season is open. I know. Kill the deer. It's pretty much a version of Pheasants Forever where you don't kill birds. So it's worse than Ultimate Duck Hunting. Hunting titles on the Wii all look and feel the same. I wish there was a game that spoke to the country boy inside me a bit more. I do love money. Calvin Tucker's Redneck Farm Animals Racing Tournament. The FART, huh? Get your redneck on! Calvin Tucker's Redneck Farm Animal Racing Tournament is a wacky title that promotes a typical redneck humor. Borzo was missing something. They're crazy organized to bring them from the swamp to the tropical pirate island, from the polar to Egypt, and from inside the pyramid they are warped into time to the medieval times and return by UFO back in time again. Give me a cigarette after reading a paragraph. Not even a paragraph, that final bit was one whole sentence. Well, we have a solid recap of the story. The farm animals want more out of life than just a farm, so they start up a racing tournament. Billy Pete, Slimy Billy the Frog, in quotes. Billy Barry, the silent but the cool Billy Cool with his sunglasses, decides to join for reasons only the mystical Billy Cool knows. And of course, Crazy Cat Billy Slim decides to join the party because otherwise there is no one left at the farm for him to harass or oppress. Well, what's your character's special ability? Oppression. Well, the game itself, not nearly as interesting as everything else around it. It's not a good car racer. I prefer It's not good, but I've played worse. Apparently there's this other Calvin Tucker game, Calvin Tucker's Redneck Jamboree. These are pretty much completely unrelated games outside of the Calvin Tucker branding. But can you even consider this branding? Who is Calvin Tucker? I've seen this game box at a few stores. This one I've only seen once, and it mesmerized me. I have only two Calvin Tucker games. Can't wait for the next one. Calvin Tucker and the Busters. This is the best game I've played so far. I don't even know what the official title is. Here's the front cover. The spine just calls it Redneck Farm Animals Racing Tournament. The title screen just calls it Calvin Tucker's Farm Animal Racing. I'll just call it better than Pheasants Forever. You know what? I'm in a racing mood. Let's try out Monster Trucks Off-Road. Wait, this spelling looks familiar. For the rest of the Diddy Design games, there's always more that pop up. I already played Monster Trucks Arena. This is the same damn thing, but we're going off-road now. The menus are the same as all of Data Design's other Wii games. The game is pretty much the exact same as Monster Trucks Arenas. The back of the box uses the same template as Data Design's other works. That being said, I'd rather play this than North American Hunting Extravaganza. This is shocking kind of bad, and this is just bad. It makes a difference. You know what? I can do better than these games. I'm gonna play Build and Race and make my own damn game. I'm gonna put a soccer field right here. So the driving controls are okay, but the game builds around the idea of creating your own racetracks. The track editor is clunky as hell and an eyesore. You couldn't share your tracks online even back when the Wii games were online. No, there were just way better options out there for not only games with level creators, but racing games in general. Like Dave Mirra BMX Challenge. What is he, in space? You know, IGN gave this game a 2. It's at least a 4. Time to increase my Monster Energy drink gauge to do something I never filled. I assume by doing tricks you boost the meter up, but that's not how I played Dave Mirra BMX Challenge. I feel more reserved by failing. That's funny. I do have the urge to drink a Monster now, though.
The story is fresh out. I subbed it out with kerosene.
The people who played Dave Mirra BMX Challenge wear Carhartt jackets in April and spent way too long in high school bathrooms. So, a little worse than Chicken Blaster. See, but is that really all bad? I mean, comparing this to ATV Quad Kings, it's way more entertaining than that. Quad Kings has a major flaw. I selected French as my language and now I can't understand anything. It's functional, but it's just a boring BMX challenge without fun physics. It gives me severe deja vu with a handful of other games I've already played. I'd rather play Monster Trucks Off-Road. This is more competently made, but this is more of a Speaking of spectacles, pizza delivery boy. Let's get into this story. Oh. That's where my wallpaper came from. Looks like this pizza restaurant needs some fresh blood. They hire a pizza delivery boy to make pizzas. I just ride a bike. I'd say this isn't unlike Paperboy mixed with Crazy Taxi. It's not the best game I've played so far. I've played this game for dozens and dozens of seconds. It's actually not that bad compared to the other games in the garbage genre. As a 10-year-old kid, I liked the idea of eventually working a job like this. I wanted to work at an ice cream shop, and then I realized I wasn't cut out for that, so pizza delivery boy. I can see some value in this game as a cute little title. There's a bit of variety here. Say 5 out of 5 on eBay. Calvin Tucker barely has a 4. I think it's about time we go on the family game tangent. We may have had a Lust for Blood, but it also had a Lust for Bloodlines. Games for the whole family. How about Pirates Hunt for Blackbeard's Booty? Designed and developed first for Wii. Was that a big fear of people saying, I'll wait for the 360 version? The pirate themed game has a lot of potential as long as it's not a minigame collection of 25
Thank God we have Pirates versus Ninja Dodgeball instead.
Half of the time these pieces of shovelware could actually be tolerable. Put all of their effort into the wrong places. Like, why are there so many playable characters? Why can't I customize my character? What's the point of any of that if I can only play as these guys in 2-minute long minigames? Why do I have to select which team I want to be a part of when I'm playing by myself? No matter what I choose, a random character is going to be assigned to me. It doesn't affect what I do in the game. What's the point? Why do I have to click through pages to read how to play the minigames? You couldn't have consolidated this all to one screen? It would have been easier to remember the controls that way. And then the controls themselves. These controls! Just waving my remote around randomly. There's no point to this. If there were like 20 minigames, sure. If there were only 5, it's better than Ultimate Duck. We're proud of this being a Wii exclusive. Did Nintendo really prod Activision for an exclusive Wii game, so they went... This game encompasses so much of what I despise about poor quality minigame collections. There's nothing wrong with party games and minigame collections in general, but they always have the most horrible descriptions on each game's controls. Look at Mario Party, see how simple that explanation is? It's all on one screen, you don't have to thumb through an atlas. And then the load time, like what's the point of having flight-size minigames if it takes this long to load? Only 5 minigames at that? Sure, I'm better to do at a pajama party than have an e-pajama party. It's a party name. All these games are being so political. Yeah, it's a party game where you can customize your girl. Ducks. Playing minigame, here's a 40-second long loading screen. Here's our next minigame. It's still better than Pirates. Oh god, the blank games genre. Basically taking the success of Wii Sports and saying, let's make our own themed minigame collection. This one based on games you play around the neighborhood. Just go outside! Neighborhood games was published by THQ. Something about it. Although THQ was always interesting. Guess what neighborhood games is? No thank you, just guess. Do it. No thoughts, first instinct, what do you think? Neighborhood games? Do it, do it. What is it? Where's the deer back? Damn it! What's the story here? Well, it's the 10th of the month. Let's go to an outside. Same. These controls are horrible. Can't throw anything for the life of me. They just wig out. The games are available from the start. The rest of the 24 have to unlock over time. I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt that some of those games are tolerable, but in the meantime, let's try medieval games. Look at that. It has the same startup screen as Pheasants Forever, except it's a dragon, not a pheasant. Oui, oui, que sur le grand tourneur medieval. I can't speak Spanish, so you know I don't know if that's French or not. ZeniMax made this? Well, of course, everybody has rough patch. Make something they're not necessarily proud of. This barely missed that patch. Hey, it's the announcer from Mario Party 8 if he looked weird. I replaced it with a variety of minigames with constant freezing, frame drops, loading times, and sexy characters. These are my main problems with medieval games. It's more similar to something like Mario Party with the types of minigames. We even have a board game mode. This is near the top of the list so far. You can tell it's a lot considered pizza delivery boy levels of greatness. So I tried medieval games. Why not spy games and elevator mission? The title of Spy Games implies this is a spy-based minigame collection of all of them having to do with elevator missions. I would have preferred Elevator Games Spy Mission. No, this is a first-person shooter where you go through hallways, shoot goons, and get to the elevator. It's just the same thing over and over. I guess they're going for an old-school Wolfenstein 3D type feel. See, that worked because Wolfenstein 3D was released in 1992. Spy Games is a joke. What kind of title is this? So much hope for the elevator-based spy minigame genre. It all ended up being just better than Pirates! Space Camp. What does it even work? There's no trees in space. At first glance, it seems to be a fairly quality kids game set at a space camp. Maybe this is some kind of simulation title like Thrillville. No, it's a minigame collection. I would have called this Space Camp Party, and camp implies this is where we sleep. Space doesn't have a curfew. This is a fairly higher quality piece of shovelware. There's not a lot to it, but it's okay at what it does, and puts it ahead of the next challenge is still above it. Like, the concept of a space camping is interesting, but when it's just another minigame collection, well, I'm sorry, but this is the only game with Dave Mirra in it. It gets the nudge. I'm not all too thrilled with what I've experienced so far. It actually gives me less faith in humanity. I don't think I can ever trust a man like I once did. So I'm removing my shower curtain. There's nowhere to hide when you're in this apartment. Pool Party is probably impossible to mess up. Well, if it was an elevator-based spy game collection, maybe. Now, it's a pool game where it shows a loading screen on how the CPU is thinking of its next move. The controls barely work. How is that possible? All you have to do is poke the remote to hit a ball. At least there's a solid selection of game types here. You know, prison fucking stinks, but they had a good variety of floors. Oh god, I never played this game, but it was in every Wii bargain bin I've ever seen. Mercury Meltdown Revolution. This was always a Wii game you'd see at stores that wouldn't normally sell Wii games. Like Rite Aid. Why was this at Rite Aid? It was always next to the Pong Asteroids and Yard's Revenge Game Boy Advance game. These were basically the only two they ever sold. It was always unbelievably cheap, like $10 to $20 brand new. Used, it was easily $1 at GameStop, but it always caught my eye. I think the pure white background almost made it look like an official Nintendo published game. Who knows, it might actually be good. It was actually good. What the f? It's like Super Monkey Ball, but puzzle focus. It's honestly not bad, and I can't believe I'm saying this. It's a better pizza delivery boy. I might as well knock out another game I constantly saw in the bargain bin, The Monkey King: The Legend Begins. This was always on the $20 and below Wii shelf at Walmart. I always remember seeing it. Maybe it'll be like Mercury Meltdown. It was actually bad. What the f? It's fine, it's just a really bland 2D shoot 'em up. It's incredibly slow, you can tilt the Wii remote to kind of manipulate the environment, but it's just pretty sluggish and boring. Though I see some potential with it, it ain't horrible, but I think this box art doesn't do it any favors. Oh f*** yeah, I'll buy this. I'm not in the mood for a 2D shooter. I should have bought Space Chimps.
Well, these two actually turned out okay at the very least. How about games that I've never heard of that I can't possibly fathom being good in the slightest? Ocean Commander. I don't know, it might actually be good. Minicopter Adventure Flight. Are they allowed to have the Wii console here? Like, did they get permission to do this? It's not even plugged in. I mean, it's better than Ocean Commander, but that's all it really is. Pacific Liberator. Mom, I want it. I want to liberate the Pacific. I mean, it's not good. The Island of Dr. Frankenstein. Spanish. Top-down adventure game. Can't understand anything. It's going at the bottom. Better than Pool Party. Defendin' the Penguin. Holy shit. This is a tower defense game. Finally, a real-time strategy game created for kids. All it took was insomnia. It works. I gotta hand it to him. It is incredibly monotonous and